Welcome back to the channel, guys. The Blue Garage. I'm Greg. Today we got an install from Pod Holes. They've sent out their S1 pod lighting from Baja Design, which goes into the steps on either side of the rear bumper. So let's get to it. It's gonna be nice. All right, so here we have the Baja Design lights and harness kit. Can't forget the stickers. QR codes for install instructions. You got all your hardware in here. Some nice painted black washers here for the bolts. Again, beautiful harness. We'll get into that here in a second. And then, of course, the bracket that sits inside the step that is going to house that pod lighting on either side. And last but not least, the actual pod lights themselves. Quick, easy process. I'll get into everything step by step here for you, help you do an easy install on your truck. So we got the wiring harness here. This is a pretty sweet wiring harness. What this does is it's a three-way harness that is going to enable the lights to be turned on and off via the cargo light button on the dash. What's nice is I already tapped into those. They're also going to double with my reverse lights. They won't on every truck, but really nice, clean harness. I'll get into where it plugs in behind the rear bumper or underneath the rear bumper. And then this nice little T, which enables us to plug everything in nice and clean, nice and neat. Got some zip ties in here that is going to tuck everything up underneath as well. We have the actual brackets that go in the seat, or sorry, the step. So this will be towards the outside of each step, and it'll sit in there as such. Nice and clean finish. Blend right in with your bumper like it was there all along. Nice, clean OEM finish. Lots of instructions too. All your mounting. This is the first time opening it, so you guys are seeing it for the first time with me. Let me just get this open. Just some more hardware to help us complete our project today, along with step-by-step instructions. You guys won't have to follow this. You guys can watch this video and know how, or see how for yourself. All right, guys, so for the tools that we need is a drill. We need a 3/16 drill bit, a 1-inch hole saw here, a screwdriver with a T15 bit. I also have a small tool here for inside the step. It'll allow us to get in there. This will be too long. A number 7 socket, and obviously socket wrench, and then all of your hardware and some prying tools to properly remove and safely remove those steps from the rear bumper. So let's get started. All I have here is a pry tool. Gonna unclip the locks underneath on the current wiring and put this harness in. And then over here we have the fuse box, so don't have to worry about any more amperage in there that's gonna shock the system, fry your wires that are already in there. It's protected with this fuse box. So let's get under there and get started. All right, so there's a little gray clip. You might be able to undo it with your finger. I cannot, so we're gonna use the pry tool. Pry up on that lock. Oh, easier if you start from the base of it. So you start at the base and slide it up. Try to do this so my hands are out of your way. There we go. It just pops out. And we'll do it on the other side. Now that that's out, all we gotta do is push down and pull. and it slides right off. Now we're going to take the harness. The longer of the two plugs in here. So that's going to slide right in. Clicks into place, you'll hear the click. And then you want to lock down that gray lock right there. The shorter end goes right into the back here. So right over top, slides in, lock it in place. We will tuck these all away appropriately once we finalize the kit. All right, now we're going to mess with the T harness. So there is a side here that has the male end, female end here, and then the smaller attachment. We're going to focus on the female end. We'll go up onto the original clip, locking in place. We can then tuck that back onto its mount. Slide that up, okay. And then the male end here is going to buckle into the red clip, or the red fitting here. So it goes in, you'll hear it clip. Unfortunately, my clip broke and it just fell out completely, so I will get a replacement from Chevy. It'll slide right in, and once it's in, it'll lock it in place so you can't compress that button. Next, coming into our harness, we will plug in right here, as you see, and until we hear that click. And we can get a red harness clip, lock clip for that as well. We will tuck these all away when we get there. Now we have a shorter end and a longer end remaining. Shorter end obviously coming over to the driver's side where we're laying right now. And the longer end feeding all the way over to the passenger side. We will mount this. I'm going to find somewhere to mount this here, and I'll show you where once we get there. To remove the step, we need that 7 socket and the T15. T15 will be for the 3 screws right underneath here. And the 7mm socket is coming up underneath. I can show you where these are. I think we have to remove this one too. I'll get rid of that. A little bit at a time. I wonder if I can do it by hand now. Got it. Cool. All right, now we got 3 screws in here as I showed earlier. So we're gonna get this little step out of the way here. Nice and easy, because there are some clips. I'll show you those. 1, 2, and 3, and then this is where that screw on the back side went into. So these 2 screws hold in the actual step, and we'll remove that. Again, we'll be careful not to break any clips as we do this too. Now the actual step. These are the clips. Careful you don't break them. The way they sit in there, they're going to hold the step into the bumper. So I didn't break any of mine. I bent them a little bit, but they should be good to go. There's these little rivets. We're going to shave those down here with a razor blade. They're right on the inside of the step. So just enough. You can still feel them, but they're closer to being flush with the step itself. Next, we're going to take our template Painter's tape might work better. I have packing tape, unfortunately. I thought I had painter's tape, but I don't. You're gonna line up this reference hole here, or point, with this hole on top. Then it's just gonna wrap around, and as you see, it sits flush in there. So I'll just tape the other side real quick. And we're gonna make sure that hole lines up. As you see, we're a little off, so I'm just gonna move it around until we're right where we need to be. Now that that matches up, we're right where we need to be. I'm ready to start drilling with all of the guides that we have. So 3/16 bit, which I have here, a 1-inch bit, which will go here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for the 3/16 and 1 for the 1-inch. So let's get to drilling. All right, the last bit here, a 1-inch bit. I'm just gonna get started, and then I'm gonna take off my template. That way I do not ruin it. That's good enough. Now I can take my template off, that way I don't shred it. And there's that little mark right here where I'm gonna drill through. Just like that. And ultimately, the way this is gonna sit, make sure I have the right one, just like that, nice and flush. All right, now that we have our holes drilled, we're gonna mount our light to the actual bracket. So we wanna make sure that the lettering is facing up. So let's do that, make sure I have this correct for how it's gonna sit in the step. It's gonna sit just like that, so lettering will be up. So I have this black washer, painted black washers that are provided. Super clean look, nice finished look. Again, going for that OEM finish. And on the back side, there is a bolt that's gonna hold us in place here. Tighten them as much as I can by hand first. I'll come in and tighten them down at the end. Now that I have them hand tightened down, I have a 10mm socket and an Allen key. Let's see, this Allen key is a 532. I'm gonna tighten them in a hex pattern, just because anything that has 4, you tend to do it in a hex pattern anyway. Just like you did the throttle body. Nice and snug in there, has a nice clean finish with the painted washers. Love how this has turned out, guys. And the last step here to put it into the step, last step for the step, is to feed the wire through the 1-inch hole. We drill those holes, we put the white backings on already. I'm just gonna make sure they align, they do. I'm just gonna get that first one started to hold it in place. Remember, you're screwing into plastic, so don't over tighten where you're gonna strip the plastic. There is our light. Again, make sure your lettering is not upside down or sideways. Now we're ready to plug it back in and get going. All right, now we're just gonna slide the wiring back through. I'm gonna put the clips into place. Before I push it all tight, make sure they're all right where they need to go. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're gonna secure everything back up. Again, those T15s are what I used here. So starting with the bottom, then the 3 up underneath. Sliding our step back into place, making sure those locking or those latches go right where they need to be all at once. Clicks into place, 2 screws on the back. Now we're going to take the shorter harness, shorter of the 2 arms. I'm going to wrap it up and around. Try not to break your clip as you're doing this. That's kind of fighting me just a little bit. And again, I'm going to put it together and clip it down. And I'm going to tuck it back in there so it's secure. All right, now this is a one and done zip tie. I'm gonna push this end through that hole up there, the white hole, which is gonna hold it in place. It's all the way in. That's gonna be for all of our wiring. So whenever I am ready to secure all of our wiring, I will get that all in one place and then wrap that in and around to secure it. Here's a spot. A little snug, but just careful you don't break the clip on it. Gotta clip it into place. And there we go. And then, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do it above here. Cool. All excess can be pulled back through. That way it can be properly secured with the zip tie. Ooh, that's clean. It looks good. They work, guys. And that's all just by unlocking it based on my last kit that I installed. They don't do that by themselves. So check out my last video if you want to see how they operate whenever you unlock your vehicle. But that's the kit. I'm going to secure everything up underneath with the zip ties and be good to go. Dang, that's bright as fuck. All right, guys, that is a wrap. We got the Podhole Baja Design S1 pod lights installed in the bumper. They look like they were there all along, or at least meant to be there all along. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that alert button to get a reminder the next time we release a video for you guys. I hope this was easy enough to follow. Get in the comments below if you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.